Hey, this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us indeed rejoice and be glad in it. Welcome to Wesley Union and Zion Church. We are a church and we continue to make an impact in people's lives, one life at a time. Listen, I don't know what's going on where you are, but in Harrisburg, it is cold outside. It is 3 degrees up here. I think on yesterday, the high was 29, but it felt like negative 12. It's cold and windy. Yes, indeed. So I hope y'all are staying warm, staying inside. Those in Harrisburg that didn't come out, that you have all your snacks, you got your soups and your blanket, your warm and everything, you're doing good. To my people out in California, hey, how you doing? Sister Giles, there, the Browns, hey, good seeing you all. Can y'all let me borrow about 40? Can you let us borrow about 40 or 50 degrees till next week? Matter of fact, till next month. They said the groundhog saw a shadow, so we got a couple more weeks of this cold weather. My family and friends in North Carolina, take care of yourselves. I see where y'all got some snow and some rain, and then some sleet. And so they were shut down for about 2 weeks in North Carolina. So continue prayers for them during this time. And definitely those individuals that don't have a roof over their head, don't have a warm blanket to crawl under, and do not have heat or anything like that. So we continue to pray for them that they have safety. Listen, it is a word from the Lord on today. It is a word from the Lord. You check me out. I have my Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated cardigan on. This time, we're celebrating HBCUs and our Greek and social organizations as we continue to celebrate Black History Month. And we're excited about it because God is doing some amazing things. And during the month of Black History, we ought to be ones to tell our history and tell our story unlike any other people can. We got to do it with pride. We got to do it with conviction. We got to do it with passion, especially after the nonsense that happened earlier this week where someone depicted our First Lady and our President Barack Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama and looking like apes. Oh my goodness. Here in 2026, the sitting president in the White House would dare to post such a racist post out in the world that people to look at and see, and does not even issue an apology. Look, we need the Lord to show up. Lord, whatever you want to tell us, you got our attention right now, because we've never seen anything like this. Well, look, I've never seen anything like this in my lifetime. I know others probably have seen it in their lifetime because they came through those the years of segregation and desegregation and hate. We never thought we'd see it come from the White House, where even Republican Tim Scott had to come out and speak out against it. We got to pray for our leaders and pray that they get Jesus. Good God about it. Look, I digress. This is the day the Lord has made. I'm indeed rejoicing and glad about it. Listen, there is a word from the Lord on the day. Turn me, if you can, to the gospel according to Matthew chapter 5, verse 13 through 16. Matthew chapter 5, verse 13 through 16. With all the foolishness and the nonsense going on in the world on today, with all of the posts going across Instagram and social media, with all the videos and things, the racial epithets that you may see and hear come from the highest office in the land, the most important office you ought to get a word from is a word from the Lord. So here we have it. The gospel according to Matthew, that 5th chapter. I'm picking up at verse number 13. It simply says this: you are the salt of the earth. But if salt has lost its taste, how can its saltiness be restored? It is no longer good for anything but to be thrown away and trampled underfoot. You are the light of the world. A city built on a hill cannot be hid. People do not put a lamp. People do not light a lamp, put it under a bushel basket. Rather, they put it on a lampstand, and it gives light to all in the house. You are the light of the world, and you are the salt of the earth. Consider the topic for this morning: keep your head up. Keep your head up. Anybody under the sound of my voice ever heard those words uttered, to keep your head up? In the midst of chaos and confusion, you may feel that your day has gone bad or your week was elongated and you felt worn down and beat up. You felt as if all the odds were stacked against you. You woke up, went to bed one night on top of the world, but woke up and it felt like the world was on top of you. Well, I got a news for you. You need to keep your head up. No matter how bleak, no matter how sorrowful things may be, I'm here to testify and tell somebody that you indeed ought to keep your head up. Because when you keep your head up, when you can look up, you know that God has a plan. No matter how chaotic things may be, no matter how hectic it may seem, if you keep your head up and keep your head about you, you know the God whom we serve still sits up high, looks down low, and has us in the palm of his hand. Well, our good friend Jesus Christ, the greatest teacher, lays out an instance on two things why we need to keep a head up. Two reasons why we ought to keep a head up. He says right here in Matthew's Gospel, chapter 5, verse 13 to 16. He talks about two things that which we have in our household, two things that we have in our household that we as Christians, we as believers need to have in our life and make sure they are utilized to its full potential. Because when we make sure they're utilized to its full potential, it can change the outlook that we have on life. But guess what? It can also change the outlook that others have on life as well. What are those two things? Well, I'm glad you asked. This sermon is going to be short on today. I just have 2 points for you. But the 2 points I have are powerful points that which I believe can be life applications for us in our day-to-day living. Point number 1 is don't lose your flavor. Don't lose your flavor. Don't lose your flavor. He says, you are the salt of the earth. When you know you are the salt of the earth, you got to make sure that you don't lose your flavor. Because once salt loses its saltiness, it cannot be restored. And once it cannot be restored, it is what? Thrown out and trampled underfoot. Do you know why it's important that you don't lose your saltiness? Let's dig a little deep on this thing. May I? Salt, what does salt do? Salt has many purposes in this world that it can be used for. One of the things that salt can be used for, salt can bring out the flavor in food. That means that you can get some food, initially it may not taste as good, but you can add some salt to it and it makes it lively and taste even better. It's an accent to food that helps bring out the true flavors in it. Anybody ever sprinkle some salt on a nice bowl of collard greens, or sprinkle you some salt on a nice piece of catfish, and sprinkle you some salt on some fried chicken? I ain't trying to run nobody's blood pressure up. I know they have salt substitute, but even with the salt substitute, they have the same outcome where it brings out the flavor in the things that which you love. In other words, don't you know that the saltiness that you have in your life, that you can bring out the flavor? In other words, you can bring out the best at a party. You can bring out the best in a bad situation. You can bring out the best in a worship experience, the best in a choir, the best in a sermon, the best in preaching, the best in teaching. You can bring out the best just by sprinkling just a little bit of what God has given unto you. But not only does salt bring out the best in this flavor, salt is also a preserver. Yes, salt can help preserve things. I don't know about you, but I need some preservation right now because they're trying to push me close to the edge and I'm trying not to lose my head. I need to be preserved in a day and time where people are saying that wrong is right and right is wrong. I need to be preserved in the culture and the climate where we're seeing individuals being gunned down on the street. I need to be preserved in my mentality where I don't get caught up in believing that lies are normalized because they're coming from the highest office of the land. I need God to preserve me and keep me where I can stand for what's right no matter what, even if I'm standing all by myself. But guess what? When you're standing all by yourself, you have to remind yourself, it may look like I'm standing by myself, but as long as I got King Jesus. I don't need nobody else. So I'm asking us that even in the midst of what's going on, that we keep our wits about us and you don't lose the flavor that you have. Hmm. But not only that, if you not lose the flavor that you have, then don't dim your light for nobody. That's my final point. Don't lose your flavor and don't dim your light. Look at the text. Jesus says, a lamp or light that's placed on a hill cannot be hidden. And when you have a light, you have to let it shine before many. Then he goes further and says, if you have a light in the house, you don't put the light under a bushel. In other words, dimming the light. Don't miss it. He said, don't put your light under a bushel basket. When you put your light under a bushel basket, there may be some cracks in the basket that lets the light shine a little bit, but it doesn't let the light shine as bright as it needs to. But then he says, but if you put the lamp on a stand, it illuminates the whole entire house. I'm here to tell somebody to let your light shine no matter what. Don't you know when you let your light shine that you can illuminate any situation? You can illuminate your entire house. You can illuminate your job. Oh, maybe you were thinking I was talking about just the physical light, but I'm talking about your spiritual light. Anybody out there can testify that the moment you walk into the room just got better. The room just got brighter. Or maybe you can't testify about it. Maybe you've had people say, the moment you walked in the room, I got excited. The moment you showed up, it turned my perception around. The moment I saw you, I knew things were going to be a whole lot better. We have to make sure that people do not dim our light. Don't let people in political conversation dim your light for Jesus. Don't let people in the way that they think and act dim your life. No matter how difficult it may be, we may get angry sometimes, we may be upset sometimes, but we need to let our light shine. They used to sing that old Negro spiritual, this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine, let it shine, let it shine everywhere I go, all in my home, on the mountaintop, I'm going to let it shine. I'm asking and begging and pleading that whatever happens in your day-to-day walk, whatever you see on the current news cycle, if you have to, turn it off every now and again, but make sure you don't lose your flavor and your zest to bring out the best in others. And also, don't let your light get dimmed where you find yourself sitting in a dark place or you put other people in a dark place. Let your light shine. Let your salt keep its saltiness where you're not good for nothing, but you're good for something. But look, it's time for me to go. I'm glad you are sitting here. I'm glad you tuned in and you're determined to let your light shine. You're determined to keep the flavor about yourself. Well, listen here. Let me tell you, I tell you this story. My middle son, Emerson, Emerson was in the kitchen. While he was in the kitchen, he made him some pasta. He had some pasta. He went and grabbed some, he had the pasta. He had grated his cheese and put the cheese on it. He sat down at the table and he said, something is missing. Something is missing. Well, we already gave you the food. You got your pasta. You got your buttered noodles. You got the butter on there. You got your grated Parmesan cheese. You good? No, it needs salt. And I said, what you mean it needs salt? Isn't it good? He said, yeah, but it needs just a little something extra. So he grabbed a salt shaker and began to sprinkle the salt on it. I said, hey, man, stop right there. You're putting too much. He said, no, I just need a little bit more so it can bring out the flavor. Oh, good God Almighty. I wish I had at least one witness in the building that you can look up and say, Lord, pour a little bit more on me. I want you to bring the best out of me. Sprinkle a little more on me. I want people to see the best of you in me. Lord, sprinkle some more salt on me that I never lose my saltiness. I never lose my flavor. That when people see me, I have the best in me because you have brought the best out of me. Anybody understanding my voice? You don't know Jesus Christ for yourself. Maybe just maybe you lost. You felt. You got angry, you got mad, you left the church, you said you'd never go back to. You let someone tease you out of letting your light shine. So you dimmed your own light. God has you here for a reason and a purpose. God wants you to be just who you are, the way you are. And God loves your spirit. Let your light shine, that the world may see your good works. Let your saltiness that you have add flavor wherever you go. You can say, Lord, I yield. I turn my life over to you. I'm going to use the gifts and talents like what you give me to make somebody's life better. And trust, give Jesus your hand, God your heart, accepts you as you are, and watch what. I thank you so much for joining us all today. I pray that God continues to watch your bless, keep each one of you, one by one, name by name. Look, if you want to make a donation to the ministry, you can. Look for us on Givelify. You can also find us on Cash App, or if you want to put it in the mail, Post Office Box 5124, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania 17110. Thank you again for all your gifts and your donations you continue to give us throughout the year. You don't have to do it, but you do, and we're grateful for it. I thank you all for joining. My family here in North Carolina, South Carolina, everybody around California, thank y'all for joining. May God continue to watch over, bless, and keep you, and continue to celebrate Black History Month the way we do. I have intentionality behind your celebration that you can tell somebody, I'm Black and I'm proud. This Sunday, as you know, like I said, we celebrate our heritage, our fraternities and sororities, HBCUs. We're looking forward to our fun and family fellowship at the end of the month on February 22nd, where we have Black Jeopardy. Yes, indeed. We're going to have ourselves a good time. Make sure to RSVP if you're in the Harrisburg area, you want to come hang out with us. Look forward to seeing you. Until next time, may God bless you and have a smile upon you. Up next, Reverend Dr. Samuel Means, Tree Growers for Christ, as we grow in Him and He in us. God bless you. Have a smile.